All right, if you don't find this one of the most amazingly simple manifestation videos that's going to get you results you never expected, if you don't find this to be mind-blowing, you need to tell me in the comments because I'm going to do something different to law of attraction, manifestation techniques, all this. I'm going to do something different, and it's using all the greats. Casey, Nostradamus, name it, name them. But I'm going to do something different today that's probably out there. I'm sure it is. But I'm going to pull it together. And if you do this, no matter what your situation, it's going to be so easy for you to go into the new manifestation, the new reality that you want to create. Because if you don't do that, our planet's going to hell in a handbasket. It is, because I need you, because I'm part of the collective, and everybody needs you to go into a high frequency of love, abundance, joy, and it's okay to go there. I'm going to show you how to do it. Are you ready? Buckle up. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live a life that you probably never imagined. You probably have patterns. Look at your life, and I'm going to ask you right now, is there a pattern? Of course there is. I know I have one. I'm like, why is it there? And if you look very deeply, there's programming. It's not just programming in your family. It's programming out there. It's what we're told we should think and believe and consume, and it's insane. But I have something for you today. I think you're going to love this because if you do this today, you will find shifting into the higher frequency manifestation. Let's just say the frequency you need to be on to bring your desires into manifestation. It's easier to get there. I'm going to show you how to do it because here's the question. How do you go from the basement in my father's mansion to the penthouse? I don't know what it's like there. I haven't been there before. How do I get there? Because I'm feeling this. Oh, I'm going to, and here are the traditional methods. I'm going to say affirmations. I am wealthy. I have abundance. And you're thinking, I so don't believe that. I'm so not believing it. Yeah. So how do you get there? What if you've never been wealthy? What if you've never been in a penthouse? I know what it's like in the penthouse. So I can resort back to that. What if you haven't? You know what? You're going to go back to, and this is why people stay in pattern. You're going to go back to your comfort level, and that is what you know. So I have something for you today that I think you're going to love. Because if you truly want to change your circumstance, if you are tired of worrying, if you're tired of being in fear, if you're tired of waking up at 3 a.m. and going, what does my future look like? Will I be alone? Will I never find the love of my life? Will I get a job that I love finally? Will I have abundance? Will this health finally be mine instead of all the crap that you're creating because you're creating it? And then you know this because you're watching all these videos. I know you are. And you're thinking, wait a second, if I'm creating this, well, how do I change that thought? Tell me, Landria, and I'm going to do it today. I hope you subscribe and share my videos because the more you spread this word, the more people will go into high frequency and we actually change the whole planet. Edgar Cayce says this. Carl Jung says this. Federico Faggin, if you don't know who he is, he created a microprocessor. He's a scientist. He was a materialist. He had an experience that said, oh my God, we're one consciousness. And this is what I want you to know. You're one consciousness. That means everything always exists, always has, always will, right now. You don't actually create it, you just bring it into your experience. All right, so let's start with that. Everything exists right now. It doesn't need to be created, it already exists in every timeline, everything you can possibly imagine. Don't try and wrap your head around it. So, my question to you is if somebody says, this is how things are, and this is how things, you're arguing, you don't understand that everyone's right. If I say this is how things are and I believe it, I'm right because that reality is true for me. I always say for me. If you believe something different and you are, yeah, you're fighting for that reality is true for you. That's called free will. That means hallelujah. You mean everything exists right now? You mean the wealthy me, the person that never suffers physically from anything, the person who knows how to pick good relationships? Because I've never known how to do that. The person who, yeah, I can go on, right? Why do I keep getting jobs where, well, you have something going on. And what is it? It's a story. Now, here's what we'll usually do is say, so we change the story. I say this too, just change the story, but I'm going to do something even better today. And you're going to love this. I'm pretty sure you're going to love this. We're not just going to change the story, we're going to create the story. So if you are broke or unhealthy or have bad relationships and you're in the worst possible situation, maybe you got everything and you're just really unhappy. Here's what we're going to do. Instead of saying, well, I'll change the story. The story is, and then you change the story that, you are wonderful and all these other things that you can put in your mind, but you're not feeling it, right? Just like, I'm so not feeling it. And so you stay there and you say, manifestation techniques don't work. Of course they don't. They're techniques. You already hold everything right now. You already possess exactly what you want right now. It's right here. These things you shall do and more. You are a co-creator. There's nothing to get out there. And that's this law of attraction. It's baloney. You don't attract anything. You're it or you're not. And so here's why people don't live in the realities that they want because they're not in it. So how do you live in it? You say, okay, well, I put a vision board up and that's great. But sometimes and very often, the vision board works against you. Why? Because you're putting up things you don't believe in. So every time you look at it, you go, I'm so not going to get that house. Oh my gosh, I can't afford that car. So it actually reinforces the negative thoughts about manifestation and it sends the message out. I will never have that. Here's what we're going to do today. Throw it all out. And this is based on quantum physics. I'm much more into science than I am just woo-woo because spirituality and science truly are one thing, except for science limits us, right? But I like science because it shows and reinforces as we move forward that what we're thinking, that we are one beautiful, unlimited source made from love, going back to it, and also the darkness. When we know that, then quantum physics is actually reinforcing that that is actually true. What does that mean for you? So I want you to, here's your exercise. I want you to take, and we're not doing any analysis, what is the final outcome you truly want? And by the way, you can self-sabotage this because I see it all the time. Every time I see people that like really want something, they start to really work toward it, and then they like start to get there, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? They go back to what they think they are because that's the story. Now, if you really don't want that, I can't change that story for you. But what I can do for you right now is show you how to create the new one. So, what we're trying to do in normal manifestation is to imagine being in that situation. But then somebody knocks on your door with a bill, or you have an argument with your spouse, or something happens, and that goes out the window. What we're going to do is we're going to absolutely embrace where you are right now. We're going to embrace where you are. Are you unhappy? Are you in a crappy relationship? They don't respect you. Your kids deserve better. Is your health really bad and you're blaming everything else out there? Why is it? We can fix that. Oh, you can fix that. Are you broke and it's a pattern of yours and you know it, but you don't know how to fix it? We're going to accept where you are now because you know that. Here's the difference. Instead of, I am the millionaire, you have no clue what that feels like. I don't know what it's like to own a Mercedes Benz or go on private jets. I personally don't need these things, but let's say you have a goal. Maybe you just want to earn a $500,000 a year. Let's say just 100,000 a year. So what you're going to do is you're going to accept where you are now and you take a good hard look at it. That's why I do my breakthrough fear class, and I'm not selling it because I'm actually not doing that anymore. Because you are no longer the student, you're the creator. And so I want you to ask yourself, what were the influences? No blame. What were the influences and the programming and the thoughts and the beliefs that have created those patterns? How did I get sick? Because we never have to get sick. I mean, eons ago, they lived in their hundreds, right? They didn't think of age. We're like, oh, you get a certain age, you buy a Corvette and you go bald and put the top down and drive through Florida and you can barely get around. That's ridiculous. How did you get here? How did you get here? I want you to write down every influence that has formed the thoughts that have created your situation. I'll tell you one of mine. My parents never sat down and really talked to me about entrepreneurship or managing my money. It's a huge one. I bet you most of you have had that, right? Never sat down. And I was dating a guy in high school. He had his own car, and well, I had my own car, but he was working and he had a bank account, a checkbook, a credit card. I was like, what? I never heard of that. He was influenced different. He was taught differently. So we're not going to blame that, but it is still a part of your pattern. It's pretty deep. So acknowledge it. Don't blame it. I'm going to acknowledge that my family's always been poor and they're comfortable in discomfort. And I've struggled my whole life, so financially. And so, I'm used to that. I know that. I'm comfortable. I know being broke. I know bad relationships. So you will always gravitate toward. I just want to warn you. You will, because you're wired for that. Well, we can rewire you. But here's what it takes. Here's the amazing part. You're going to acknowledge all of that, and then you're going to write the story that acknowledges that. Instead of saying you're the millionaire, you're going to write the story of how you, the broke person, became the millionaire. You're going to write the story about how you, the really sick person, turned your health around. You're going to actually write the story of how you changed it. You may not have all the answers right now, but it's going to push you to create it because the universe, quantum field, can't create it unless you have some ideas. Now, you don't have to lock it in because I've always told you you're going to try and find ways of how things should work. Then, that the universe has much bigger ideas. But if you don't start somewhere, it doesn't know where to take you. Just whatever. I just need this. Well, what do you love? What kind of job do you want? What kind of person do you want? How much money do you want? What do you want to buy? Because like then we have to gear your income toward what you want to purchase. So you're going to write the story. Let's say, okay, well, there was this is really cool condo down in Key West I really wanted. And okay, I'm going to look up how much that is. Oh, it's 750,000. Okay. How did I go from my situation to being able to buy that? What are my skills? Oh, here's what it does. Here's what Disney said. If you can imagine it, right? If you can see it, you can create it. You can create it if you can imagine it. You're going to imagine it and you're going to ask yourself how you can get there. How could this happen? Because the more ideas you put out into that quantum field, the more it has to work with. And it's not separate from you. It's your higher self that isn't limited. So now you're going into the unlimited space to say, okay, well, I have really great artistic skills. Well, artists are broke. We're going to get rid of that crap. You done with that? What about if I wrote soundtracks for videos online? There's tons of creators like me. What if I wrote soundtracks or music for creators and I got a hold of every creator online that I could talk to and said, hey, I'm going to charge a lot less than you getting licenses with these big guys. And, you just pay me directly and here's my music. I'll create something customized for you. It's really that simple. You have to take that skill and you think, maybe you think your skill isn't worth anything. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. Take something you love and say, how do I monetize this in a way that everybody enjoys it? So it's not like I'm going to take advantage of people. It's how do I monetize it in a way that takes me away from monetizing myself in a world that's not doing anything nice. So people say you shouldn't charge for doing good things. And I say, well, okay, but it's okay to charge for doing bad things. That's really what they're saying. I can go to a manufacturing plant that dumps, crap into the ocean. But boy, if you're spiritual and you give, if you do good things, you should never charge. It's programming, my friend. There's no limit to abundance. Whether you're doing good or bad, it's all one thing. There's no opposition. There's no devil fighting God. You can't fight God. God is source. God is everything. I want you to write the story. How did you get in this situation that you're in? And you imagine the place you want to be and you write the story. So what's going to happen is the more you focus and concentrate on it, the more answers will come. Well, I met somebody in a coffee shop, get really creative. I met somebody in a coffee shop and they offered me a job in their antique store. And then, and then I was so good, they made me a partner. They were getting older and they said, I could really use somebody to take over these things. I'm going to give you equity. And then pretty soon I owned the antique store. And then I had a bed and breakfast. But get creative because the imagination is one of the most high frequencies you can go in. Are you ready to do this? So instead of going, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I have great relationships, you're going, I have no clue what that feels like. Now you're going, wait a second, I'm going to tell the story and acknowledging where I am. I feel like crap. And guess what? One morning I wake up and I have coffee and somebody says, God, I could use a person like you in my shop. Or I get up the next morning and I go online and I'm looking for jobs and the perfect one shows up. And what is it? You have to know what the perfect one is. At least close. You got to get in the realm of the high frequency. You have to be able to say what that is. You ready for this? Because it works. Why? Because it gets rid of you wondering how to feel good because you're here. It helps you to write the story of getting there, and that feels really good. And I don't know about you because I am a writer. If you guys don't know, I have a Hallmark movie. Um, guess what? Imagination's a beautiful thing, and it feels good. And once you go into that, it's like, oh, there's more ideas that you have. And then the universe says, oh, there's more ideas. And it's not you confining yourself because I'm really not a big fan of saying it has to be this way. It's you going to imagination. And the more you know what you want and you're imagining this story, you write the story of the rags to riches or the bad relationship to the perfect one, the more you write this because you're here for the story. You're here for the journey. The more you do that, holy cow, your world is going to turn around. It will turn around because you're going to be on it and you're going to keep imagining that story. Okay, now what's next? Okay, so I own the antique shop, and then the person next door says, do you want to buy my store? And you say, yeah, and you go into this whole crazy thing, and it may not unfold like that, but what it does is it puts you in that space of this, these possibilities, these probabilities, instead of I can't pay my bills. My spouse hates me. Yeah. You ready to do that? Write the story. Write the story. Your story. Write a book. Write the book. How did I get from here to there? And by the way, The Secret, Rhonda Byrne, she did that. Okay? I'm taking it a little bit step further because her teachings are always about imagining things. I'm telling you to write the story between here and there. It's a lot easier. Okay, get busy on that. If you haven't seen my 3 seconds to manifest anything video, it's one of the first videos that put me on the map on YouTube. People said, "What? I can change everything in 3 seconds?" Yeah, you can. I suggest you look it up. And also, I hope you'll subscribe. Please share my videos. It's going to raise the frequency of the planet. Tell somebody that there's another way. And also, if you go down into my description, not only can you join my private membership, we meet live every week. It's super cool. And you get my videos earlier before anybody without ads. Not only do you get that, but also there are suggestions down there to live a clean life, a life in a world that's non-toxic. Go check those out. I have all kinds of discounts, including toothpaste bites instead of tubes, billions of them going to fields, garbage fields that are poison. Your toothpaste is poison. Go down. I checked everything out. I used everything down there. We have to start recommending things to one another. If you have a great product, let me know. I'll recommend it because I want to support the people that are change makers on this planet. Are you ready to do that? Give it a try. I think you're going to have fun with this. It's instead of going, it feels really bad to think about being wealthy because I'm poor. I'd say, you know what? I open up a check one day instead of a bill. Who's it from? I don't know. A surprise. A surprise. There's a lot of surprises for you because you are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And by the way, everything I said today is based on Edgar Cayce, Dolores Cannon, Federico Faggin, scientists, quantum physics supports exactly what I'm saying. In other words, if you can imagine it, you will create it. You're planning it out into a universe that always says yes. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.